So 2 different people coming out of this Christmas period asked me about how to do horns a quick way in Nomad. So I just wanted to do a very quick video on how I would do something like these kind of dragon demon horns. It's something I do a lot in my work, so I'll show you one of several different ways of doing it. Okay, so we'll keep those horns that I showed you as an example on the screen. But what I'll do is just do something very simple. So I'll add a simple shape. So in this case, we'll just add a sphere, any old sphere, we'll do it. Now, what we want to do is chop that up and make it a repeatable piece. So for now, we'll put the grid on just to make things a little bit easier when we snap to the side like this. I'll use I'll validate the sphere so we can now edit it, and I'll go straight to something like the split tool. So we'll go all the way down. In fact, when I say split, I didn't mean that, I meant trim. And when you've got the trim tool, we can just trim stuff away. So we can trim the back and the front away like that. Now, we don't want to do it with symmetry on, so we'll turn symmetry off, and then we'll just trim away one end like this and one end like this, slightly bigger at one side than the other. And you'll see why I do that in a minute. If you look at the wireframe of that, it's quite nasty, and that really doesn't matter because of what we're going to do here. So what won't be a problem is if I rotate it round and have it going vertically like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a horn that comes up like this. And then I'm going to mess around with it from there. And sometimes what you have to do is adjust this pivot point for what I'm about to do. So you might have to switch pivot on and rotate it round, but we'll find that out as we come to that. We're just making one single piece of the horn at the moment. So from the top now, turn that wireframe off for a minute. We'll make it a little bit more dense so we can chop it up better. So we'll go to multi-res and subdivide, and then we'll go all the way back to our trim tool again, or I keep saying, I want to say split, but I don't want to split anything off. I want to trim it, and this time lasso, and I want to do something like this. And that gives me a divot into the horn. So basically what I'm looking for is a concave area of the horn. What I could do is do it more like smooth like this. Just to give you a smoother line. We do want it going out in areas, but it's quite nice to have it erratic like that, and you'll see why that is in a moment. So that's given me this nice big chunk of bone. If you feel necessary, smooth some of it down at this point, but we're going to move it around a lot in a moment anyway. You'll see exactly what I mean and why that matters. What's important at the moment is it's thinner at the bottom than it is at the top, and if it's not, or if you think that that's not quite right, go to your move brush. Just take the move brush and just bring it in at the bottom a little bit like this. You can even pull it out a little bit like this if you want, and down. And again, I'm going to show you any second now why. We can edit this, loads of this later on. So we've got a shape to work with, and it's got these funny little divots in it here, and it's got some concave and some convex, so that's what we want. Some out is, some in is a way to think about it. So if we've got it on the side like this, and we'll have it on completely snapped to the side, so I'm hitting that blue front icon at the top right there, just making it stay at the front. And then I'm going to add something, so I want to add, come at the top, and I want to add a curve. And as you can see, because we twisted the pivot point, it's given us a curve that goes all the way up, but it's following the line of the model that we're working on. And what that's done is put us a repeat on a curve. So if I bring it down to the side now, notice how it moves around. So that's super useful for what we want to do. Having that a pivot point adjusted first was the big saving grace. And now simply all we want to do is repeat that. So I'm going to go count and knock the count up like that. And straight away you can see why this is useful, because that's now giving us this nice repeatable shape. And because it's thinner at this side and bigger at this side, then it kind of like goes together like little cups all sitting together. It's obviously a horn, if you remember the image that I showed you at the start, or the model I showed you at the start. So what we're going to want to do there is we're going to want to adjust it. So it's all of the adjustments are up here in the settings at the top. So the one thing we do want is to adjust the radius. So at the moment we can go all the way big to all the way small like that. Now that's changed the count, so obviously I need to increase the count, something like that. You might want to also bring it out a little bit to make it a bit longer for what we're about to do with it. So that's looking good. So it's not bad. It's giving us a shape. You might want something very spiky like this. You might want to build something in that's a bit more spiky. You could hit radius again, hit a point in the middle, so you can now you can move that around, which is what we want to do later. But also you can scale it where every one of those points is. So you might want it bigger here at the end. So you might want it something like that, more like a lizard's tail. But so it goes tapered right at the end. That's completely up to you to play with. And the last one to play with at this stage is hit twist. And then basically what twist does is obviously it allows you to rotate the whole piece. So look at it twisting through its entire length. And that's crucial for what we're going to do. For anything like goat horns, dragon horns, demon horns, there's always going to be this really cool twist. You can do another one, which means you can do individual twists at individual points. But that's up to you. I'll put another point in there so you can see what I mean a bit more. So you might want more of a kick there as we come into it, something like that. But that's our starter for 10. So that's our horn going quite well at the moment. So now what we want to do is go back to this base model and adjust it. So we're just going to use the move tool. And what will happen is as I adjust it, you'll see it reflect around the whole model. So this is where it gets quite powerful now. So we can really start thinking about what it looks like down the chain. So if I want to smooth this area out, if I bring this down, it gives us a nice smooth divot all the way down. So when we mush this all together, Voxel merge this together, this is going to fit really nicely. It's going to fit as in one long chain down here. So do the same at the top. So make a decision. You might not want it all fitting. You might want it like this, all ridged. But for me, I'm thinking what I might do is bring it down, so down at the back here, and then down here, and then up here, and then make it like it fits quite nicely. So when we smooth it, it won't be a major problem. Come around the back. Something gone wrong here. This doesn't look quite right, does it? So maybe we can make this divot a bit stronger, something like that. But then less as we go into it, and then bring it up at the bottom so that goes into a smooth one as well. That'll smooth out nicely. Maybe this bit should be straighter, so we can work on making it go in like that with a nice straight line going down the horn, and then bring it back maybe a bit more, something like that, so it's nice and flush all the way down. You can bring these really far forward if it helps. Underneath, not too much of a problem, I don't think. Bear in mind it's twisting, so you're going to see all kinds of different stuff as you go down the length of it. So don't forget that what you're doing echoes in eternity. No, echoes down the model. And there you can see you've got a nice run all the way down to the bottom. So let's go back to the curve. And maybe we could move this point down, and maybe we could twist this a bit more, something like that, and put another one in, twist that one more. We want it probably more twisted as we get down towards the end. But now it's fracturing, as you can see. It's not enough points, so not enough of the section, so we can increase the sections. You can go crazy, so it's completely smooth. So if you're doing gazelle horns, that's a great one to do. They're always good done in that way. But for dragon horns and demon horns, we want the count down a lot lower. Something, I mean, I can't tell you a number because everybody's model will be different. But something like just so you can just about see the ridges would be enough. And now what we can do is we can play with those sizes again. So let's increase the sizes. We will go back and probably change the points a little bit. Now, this is coming out of the side of a head, for example. So what we want to do is choose whether it goes up or down first. Well, we're going to go up and back, and then bring the horn forward, And what we could do is we could bring some craziness into it by bringing these all down here like this. Again, you can see why I'm going to have to keep changing the amount. So I'll bring it forward like this, and then up like this. And now it's gone way too thin on the end, but again, don't worry about it, because we're in a great position to fix all this. If at any point you don't like one of the points that you've got, what you can do is bring one to the other and it snaps together and disappears. So 2-finger undo, because I don't want that. Now I'm going to adjust my sizes again. So I'll make it a bit bigger coming out of here, a bit bigger here, a bit bigger here. That's cool. Put another point in there because I want a nicer curve, something like that. In fact, that could come round more like this and come out the side of the creature's head. Knowing your creature at this point would not be a bad thing. I'm obviously just showing you a different way to, different ways to do this. But you know, if you know your creature, I'm going to get rid of that point. Actually, I don't like it. Something like that. If you know your creature at this point, it's a lot easier. Bit more of a twist in there, so as we come out and round here, gives us a nice twist. And say, for example, we're happy with that. Obviously, you can play with it a lot. Don't do what I did there and hit a black. So if you tap any of these white points, it goes black, you get an angle. And that's the last thing we want in this. Bring that around. Get rid of that one. I'm just trying adding and removing, and you can do exactly the same. Look at it from all angles. And when you've got something that you like, I'll leave it at this, but you can keep going until you get something that you really like. I'm going to bring it back in on itself there. This is called noodling, so I'm just having a go at trying different things. But say we like that and we're happy with that, just validate it, say yes to it, and then you've got them all together here. So what we can do here is we can just take all of them, and if you hit join, they'll all be into one. And then to make it one solid piece, just go back up to the top and look for your voxel, and voxel remesh it down to a couple of hundred so it's not too high. It's going to take a minute to do it. Look at your wireframe if you want. There you go. So it's done it for us, and it's not too excessively high. We don't want it too high at this point, because what we want to do now is just switch smooth on. You could just hold smooth down, but at this point I'm going to do loads of smoothing, and then I'm going to smooth all these parts out all the way down. I'm not going to get rid of it completely because I need that ridging. And there you can go. You can see there now you've got your concave areas, you've got your convex areas, you've got your bone looking areas. Now it's up to you. A couple of tools that I always use. Crease tool is a good one. So I would go in with my crease tool and I'd put in the ridges and follow them up and round and make it erratic. So that's always a good one. As you can see, I'm going to work my way around and then work it with this, round like this, so it follows it round. Make sure that the ones that are inside follow this little path internally, make sure your lines are flowing in. So that would make it look good, going all the way down. As you come to the end, put some creases this way, some splits and some erratic, horns are always cracking on the end and splitting. So as much as we want those repeatable lines that way, once we get out here, we want more. And then you can put more, you can put some more random scratches and cuts and all kinds of stuff in there, depending on what you want. So shape-wise, we're done. Surface, we've got some ideas with this, with using crease. And then there's one thing I need to show you, which is your stamp. So if you come down to stamp, and in stamp here, you can just pick any of your alphas. There's loads of my alphas on my resource hub, so you can go and get all the dinosaur alphas and stuff like that. And then look for something like, I've got this one here that's like a bone texture. And then low intensity, and then just drag it on the surface and see what it does, like so. So it's not bad, but it's looking very wobbly. So I'm going to go multi-res, subdivide a couple of times, give me a couple of million polygons to play with. And then you might want to change your settings up here and go into the fall off. And you can go in here and you can make it a bit basically more harsh, and it means it'll be a much flatter table on where the models, where the alpha's going on. It'll be better at the edges is what I'm trying to say, not explaining that particularly well. So those kind of brushes are always good, and then something that's got ridges in it is what I find is always good. So something like In fact, this is good. This is one. This is just an alpha I got offline, I think, and this is just scales. So you might find that scales or a scaly surface down that the horn is what you need. Don't forget you can have it subbed or the other way. And then I do want one that shows you how to do the ridges. So something like this, which is just lines. This is probably something that you might want to do, which gives you more ridges all the way down. So that's where you get to experiment on your own a little bit. You don't need me for that bit. You know how how I would do something like this now. So you know, go and get yourself my alphas if you haven't already got them, and just have a play with those packs. But that's how you make horns with the curve tool and one piece of geometry. Hope you're enjoying these videos, and if you are, please give us a thumbs up. It does help us to get in front of other people that like this kind of thing. And if you like us enough to give us a thumbs up, then please subscribe to the channel. It's 2026 now, and we're diving into our newer content and rewriting our Nomad Beginners course.